Hello, everybody, and welcome to the TBD Tavern. And I hope you have grabbed your mead. I hope you have grabbed your friends to sit around at the table and to commiserate with us as we. Who am I kidding? As I don't even know what I'm saying. I'm your tavern host, the WanderingAnbu. I'm joined by the ever wonderful SilverBlazeX.
Thank you. I am very wonderful and very humble and so intelligent and so handsome. Just kidding.
Don't sell yourself short, please. I don't want to hear the sarcasm that I thought I heard in there, sir, because you are all of the above and then some.
I'm sorry, Ambu. Like, I always expect you to start the episode, and I apologize. I'm like, go ahead, Ambu. Perform, monkey. Perform.
No,
I'm so sorry, man.
No, I just worry because I worry that I talk so much. I feel like when I listen to our episodes, I don't shut up. So, like, I'm always worried about taking over. So I'm like, I'll wait a moment to see if Silver wants to start it. And then if I got to, I'll just, like, go into performance mode. We're good. But,
No. I guess I trust your talent and your experience as a performer to just kind of, like, pick us off. Because for one, I had been out on vacation for about a week that I was spending time with my special person in this world, and I don't know if it's just me, but after a while I haven't recorded anything or I haven't been streaming. Obviously I haven't been streaming in the longest time, but like I flashbanged myself right now with the Elgato lights, and Ambu got to see it because I had just turned on the camera. We're just setting up and everything on Discord, and I don't know where I just turned on the lights and I'm like, ah!
It's yeah, you know the meme of like the vampires and like like this, and then like the light flashes and then they disintegrate. That was Silver. You all missed it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. It took me a while. It literally, it did stun me because we were trying to have a conversation. It was like, so how was your trip? And I was like, yeah. I mean, I'm still kind of a little bit out of it, but
then I'll go ahead and say this. Yeah. Then let's do this. So everybody, today we are going to talk about the movie Twisters, which was the surprise sequel I don't think anybody ever expected to come. It is a sequel to the movie Twister. Get it? It's a sequel because it's Twisters. They're Twister sisters. Anyway, so Twisters is a movie that takes place where, to start it off, to keep it very simple so we can focus on the bigger picture of our review. It's about this girl named Kate who wants to come up with a way to stop tornadoes. She's trying to come up with a formula for this, like, chemical composition to where it can basically take the moisture out of the tornadoes and stop it from forming before it even begins. And of course, in true Brew fashion, in any sort of great disaster movie, she's part of her team. They're going out to go driving, and they spot a tornado that they think is going to be an EF1. So real quick, to get a little bit into the science of tornadoes, tornadoes are usually registered by an EF scale. So there's like the E1 through E5, which is when it's enhanced. But more specifically, there's the F1 to the F5. F1 being the tiny little
F1 to the F5. Sorry.
No, you're good. But like basically F1 is like the tiny little ones that like do some damage, but they're not going to wreak insane amount of damage. And F5 is the worst one that you can get. Now, keep in mind with tornadoes, the F scale is usually done after a tornado happens. So you're never going to know in the moment if a tornado is going to be an F1 or an F5. You just have to kind of hope for the best that it's going to be minimal. But in any case, sometimes they can be much bigger. And in the case of Kate and her friends who are trying to test out this compound, they had the equation wrong. So the amount of chemicals that they needed, the amount of like stuff that they needed to make it happen, did absolutely nothing because the surprise twist, it was an F5 tornado. And unfortunately, in this movie, everyone in her team except for her friend Javi, who is registering the data like miles away, was sucked up by the tornado, and that's when it gets to the present moment when we find Kate working with the National Weather Service and is helping to predict or like determine if tornadoes need a call out to like FEMA or something else to go provide aid. Anyway,
Yeah.
her friend Javi pops up. He's like, "Hey, help me help people. Help me with my like new company so we could 3D image tornadoes so we can help people." And then of course there's like people who are tornado chasers, which is a thing apparently where people on YouTube they like stream it and then they go chase tornadoes. And this one guy who seems like a douche nozzle is like got a big Twitch following, and then he beats them to a tornado, and it's like a back and forth. But what I like about it is towards the end of the movie, you find out that actually the douche nozzle is a genuinely nice guy who wants to help Kate come up with a proper formula to actually stop tornadoes. And the movie ends with them actually, I think, stopping a tornado that was an F5 from completely destroying a town. They were able to successfully stop it. But there's other twists and turns that we're going to get into in our review. I just wanted to give you a very brief synopsis to not take up too much time. So why don't we start about this? Silver, when you went into the movie, what were your expectations? And, you know, if you've seen the original Twister, did it live up to your expectations? Like,
it kind of did in its own different way. Like, the first Twister to me is like this amazing film that made me fear, respect, and at the same time be like, ooh, twisters, you know, tornadoes.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool. Really, like the first movie was made very well, especially for its time, the 90s, and it was incredible. It was good. It had a pretty good cast and everything. The story was also fun. It was just kind of like always volatile, one thing after another. You know, doesn't really let you. It's one of those movies that like didn't let you really like think. It was just kind of like, oh, on to the next thing, oh, on to the next chase. So it almost felt always like you were chasing things with them. And this one, there was a lot of like more angst. Mainly because it starts off with them being teenagers. These kids die, you know, they make some bad calls. When you're younger, you know, you don't think things through sometimes, right? And because of that same reason, they made some very bad calls for their own safety. And they didn't have the experience to go out there and be chasing, you know, tornadoes. You're not like I mean, okay, if you're out in the savannah trying to take pictures of a lion, right? Okay, hear me out. You take precautions to what? Try and bring a professional with you for one, right? I mean, I would think. Two, try and stay out, you know, downwind. You know, make sure you have a gun. You know, you have somewhere you can hide from this lion. Okay, right? There's precautions. These are not lions. These are tornadoes. These are gigantic streams of wind that destroy cities, right? That just can completely wipe off an entire city from that zip code.
Yeah.
There's really no guns. There's really no like I mean, I guess there is bunkers, right? But for the data that they're looking for, unlike the lion that you're out there taking pictures and, you know, hunting it down, and you can cover yourself or protect yourself from the lion, but you can't really do that from these tornadoes. I just feel like they were very inexperienced. They weren't prepared. And that was sadly their downfall of all these young kids who probably had very bright futures. I don't know what university allowed them to be like, oh, your project's on turn. Yeah, go for it. No, do it. Yes, grants, money, have at it. Go get that money. Do it. No, I don't know what professor, what university greenlit this. I know that the main girl, Kate, right? She wanted that grant money so that she can keep on, you know, working on that. But again, they needed somebody to be mentored. Like a professor should have been involved here, man. You know, to be like, hey, you know, this is what you should and shouldn't do. You know, I don't know. Those were my thoughts. What do you think?
No, I agree with you. I was actually surprised that for their internship, or their grant or whatever it was, they didn't have a professor that was with them, because I feel like in any case, if you're trying to do research and everything, you need to have your professor there, especially in a dangerous like field ops type of work. Like there's no way I would think a professor would be like, yeah, go chase this F1 that might be coming by, or it could be an F5, I don't know, like whatever, it's a tornado, go do your thing. Like there would be much more discussions on like hypotheticals. I feel like there'd be other tests done on the chemical compounds just to verify the equation. Like there would have been so much more done. And I think that's what I liked about the original Twister, was like the professor was much more involved, right? Because like Helen Hunt's character is a professor, and she's like taking care of her, working with her students, versus like, hey, let's throw these kids out there for like $1,000 and risk their lives for that much money, and everything. And that's the thing that like this movie. The other issue I have with this is the one thing I have with Twisters that kind of bugged me was I felt like it got predictable with Javi's storyline of like who he was working with, because like, you know, when he talked about his tech and everything that he worked on and everything, and how he looked, he was like dressed business savvy, he was an entrepreneur, and he's in the disaster business. It was like, come on, like we know he's got to be funded by someone with motives, right? Like somebody has to be like, oh hey, there's this tech that you could use to totally help people, but let me fund you by having you help me chart where tornadoes are going to strike, so I can buy the property real cheap and then like go back. That was just something that kind of felt like it was like, you know, I felt like I saw it coming. There was hints of it where it was like, it's too good to be, Javi's idea was too good to be true. And I kind of liked that was juxtaposed with Tyler, Glenn Powell's character, where he's like this, I called him a douche nozzle, I admit it, but like this like adrenaline chasing dude who you thought was just like a adrenaline junkie to like go in tornadoes, pin his like truck into the ground and call it a day, but he actually had a love and a reverence and a respect for tornadoes. And so like there's this moment where he starts talking about the science and the physics of like tornadoes, and like when it reaches like a moisture point, when the cold front and the warm front clash. And like I love that about Twisters, and Twister is like the science behind it, because to me like what's intriguing isn't just like the scale of like the suspense and like are they going to survive or not. It's also like the mystery of tornadoes, because I think in real life there's a lot of things we don't fully understand in terms of Mother Nature. You think about like the Marianas Trench, or you think about the ocean, how we have not completely covered that. We don't know majority of what lies in the ocean. So you think about like tornadoes and how we can't fully explain how they form and develop, and I thought that was really cool. So I thought it did pretty well living up to the legacy of the original movie. I wasn't sure that we ever needed a sequel, but then like seeing it, I was very happy to see a sequel for Twister. Like I thought it was a well done sequel.
I mean, I liked that they used the Dorothy. That was probably the peak of seeing that movie at the beginning, prior to the children dying. But that was the peak for me, being like, oh my god, it's the thing. Oh my god, you know, it's cool. I liked it. Yeah. That was awesome. But aside from that, it's its own movie. It's its own thing. It does stick to the science, but not the social science, in the sense that there was a lot of students that went into this project. Nobody was monitoring it. They weren't ensuring that it was going to be controlled. Like I don't know. I think that for a grant, they required somebody to be overseeing it, but I don't know.
No,
whatever. And having that guy, the YouTuber, right? That was also unrealistic, because you and I know as streamers, right? If you can't stream while driving. You can't. That's against TOS. So you can't do that. And the moment that you're putting yourself in any sort of like danger, that's also a TOS. So I don't know how he was doing it, but okay, cool. I understand if you wanted to do like videos that are edited, you can do that, yes, because you can control and you keep the audience safe from certain things. You don't. Okay, so he did have the experience because he's a trained, educated meteorologist, and he had the equipment. Again, the lion, right? He had his house, how to protect himself from that lion, and it was those things that ground his truck. But sometimes they weren't working right, and you saw that, how they failed, right? That can go south very quick, and that means you're streaming that to lots of people in the world that could be also underage, and we are about to just see a bunch of adults just get destroyed by a tornado. Again, not something that would happen really in the real world with streamers. And I don't like the character. He's a douche. He's a little jerk. Okay, so he's smart. So he has some character development, right? He develops into like this, like, oh, we actually care. Oh, I actually care about the people. Blah blah blah. But he does come off like a douche. I mean, okay, so what is he, like the Mr. Beast of tornadoes, right?
More, that's the thing that, like, you're right. I wanted to touch up on that real quick. Like, character development in the show was just weird, somewhat tropey, but then also like you said, some things were unpredictable, right? Or like not typical. So like when he's shooting fireworks into a tornado, you have to ask yourself, is that really not dangerous? Because like, why would you shoot something that has gunpowder into a tornado that like is flying around, spinning, zooming, whatever, and could hit not just you but anyone around? Like, it does that was another thing that didn't make sense to me. It was like,
he had a posse, dude. He had a posse of people that got that close. That wouldn't happen in the world. Like, what authority allows that to happen to begin with? How was YouTube able to sleep with that? This YouTube and this paranormal and this weird dimension where apparently streamers can go out and chase tornadoes, you know, and still have their posse of people, and it's okay, and everybody's happy about it. Oh my god, the tornado chasers. Dude, no, why would you want to expose your community to possibly get destroyed by these, like,
seriously,
things, these giant things that nobody can control or even explain them yet?
Yeah.
Can't.
I mean, I will say this. I do like how he softens up towards the end when he realizes he could actually put his meteorology degree to good use with Kate. I'll give that character development, like.
But he liked her first, dude. Don't see, that's the thing. It was all about getting it in. All right. It's all about getting it in, guys.
Both agree on that. Yes.
That was it. He was like, look at that. Yeah. All right. Yeah, that girl's kind of hot. All right. Turns out she's actually smart, knows what she's doing. And then that makes him even be like, okay, it's not about just getting it in, but also, okay, I kind of like her. And okay, maybe I am a douchebag. Dude, I don't know. It was too cheesy. I didn't like it. He wasn't originally a good guy. He just, you know, he changed for the girl, man. That's it. He wasn't the good guy. He just changed for the girl. That's what it is.
I mean,
tell me I'm wrong.
And then also, I was going to say, it's also the way that some of the characters had to be like, you think that we're reckless and all this other stuff, but this is how we sell our merch and this is what we do for the good. And it's all like trying to set up his whole entire posse as like good people because they sell the merch to the people who survived the disaster so they could provide food to the people in said disaster zones. And you're like, I guess, but like, wouldn't you tell people to buy the merch online so that way you could use that money to like help people?
Also, he's a YouTuber. If he's such a big YouTuber and has these many subscribers and posse, he's making money, dude. Why is he using the money of the people to help the people? Use your own money if you're such a good guy. That's what I'm like, bull, man. That is bull. Bull. Okay, come on.
So can we? I guess we could just. So like in terms of like the plot and everything, it feels like it's a little bit kind of. Well, I mean, how would you describe it based on what we're discussing?
There is no plot. There is no plot. The plot. Here's the thing. This movie does not have a plot. It's kids who made a tons of mistakes. She had a brilliant idea, and then gets PTSD, runs away from it. Right? That's so, again, super stereotypical. the guy that always had a crush on her, again, super stereotypical, says, hey, wanna join me to, do some good? Because, you are actually kind of good at this, aside from the fact that you got her friends killed. And she gives in, meets douche nozzle. And then, again, stereotypical bad boy gets the girl over the nice guy who basically sold his soul to the devil so that he can actually do good. Hobby actually was a good guy. Hobby actually sold he knew he was selling his soul to the devil to do good.
Yeah.
He was admitting it. He was admitting what he was doing. Douche nozzle is just the douche nozzle making money. All right? That happens to be like, I want the girl. Hey, that looks good. Yeah. Had there not been a girl in this, man, douche nozzle would have still been douche nozzle. So plot? No, there is no plot. It's like just a bunch of stereotypes put together and then throw in some freaking tornadoes and voila, twisters.
Dang. The one plot that I know we could argue is predictable, and I'm not going to say that it's not predictable or tropey or whatever. I do like the fact that Kate gets to redeem herself and actually get to see her work come to fruition. I will give her that. Like, that's the one part that I really did enjoy, was seeing in the end of it all, like, her, once she fixed the equation, that it actually worked out and they had a means of actually stopping tornadoes. But I kind of wish that we had a little bit more with that rather than just stopped it and that was it.
ChatGPT fixed it. The computers from douche nozzle, right, ran the formulas and fixed it. She didn't do anything. All right, I'm not gonna give that. I don't know, man.
Okay, fine. We can.
No. Tell me. No, go. Tell me if I'm wrong. I just these characters, man, they're just ridiculous. They were just ridiculous to me. I'm sorry, I can't. The only guy that I like is Javi. That's it. I only like Javi and the mom. The mom was cool. The mom was like the best wingman ever. That was like, she was cool. That's about it.
Oh my god, when Tyler gives her the shirt as a thank you for staying the night, and the way that she just like looked at it was just like, thanks, I guess. Like that was so like peak of like, yep, that's that. I wonder if that's what it's like for like, if it's a big YouTube celebrity who's like, thank you for letting me stay with you guys. Here's a gift for you all, and it's just like merchandise that's like probably like outdated or something. Like, okay, sure, thanks, man.
I take it back. I don't like the mom anymore. That should have been a red flag. Wait a minute, I don't want douche nozzle to be or maybe. No. She was thinking she'll get him out of her system, and then she'll look for a real guy, and then it'll be Hobby. Whatever.
Oh, like, okay, but here's the thing, though. Like, even if you were to say that, technically, Tyler's system did help her figure out the equation, right? And she based it off of Javi's data that she said, you owe me for that data, and he gives her that data. And they're able to do it. At the end of the day, like, she still, like, had to work on it with the program to verify that the equation that was altered does work. And she did risk herself again to actually prove that it did work. So I'm going to say that, yes, in a way, it was redemptive for Kate's character to see that, like, they were able to actually put it together and make it happen. Now, if that's going to work in the future, because I don't know if Twisters is going to make another sequel, if they're going to have, like, a Twisters.
No! No! There should not be a sequel to this sequel.
Oh, man.
No, I can see you digging for, like, the trying to make sense of this and, like, the redemption, and I can see you also, like, sucking on that copium to try and make sense of this, but no, buddy. Yeah, suck it. Oh, man.
No. I mean, like, look, I'm not going to deny the fact that, like, Javi is a good person, and I think that the show, this is what I would argue for Twisters. Are the characters tropey? Yes. Javi should not have gotten third wheeled like that, and like the fact that he got third wheeled was very criminal in the way that it was done. But I do think that what the movie was trying to do is this, and hear me out, you can disagree with me. I'm just going to play devil's advocate to what you've been arguing. Is
How about
it was trying to show that people are more than how they appear. That the appearance of someone is more than who they are. So, like, yes, you could argue that Tyler was just trying to be nice because he really liked Kate. But I do feel like as it changes, regardless of what the original intent was, he actually did want to help her to where he did put the time in to help her with that. And yes, Javi looked like he was a good guy, and he still is, but he did sell himself to the devil to, like, make this happen to where it's the whole, like, even the best of people, like, even the best of intentions can have a journey paved with, like, bad mistakes, right? Like, so, like, we're seeing more characters who are more than what they look, than how they appear at first glance. So that's what I would argue is what I think the intent of the character designs were. I don't know if that translates in the film, which I think we can both say doesn't translate that well, because the way that they paint, like, Tyler, he is literally just like, hey, I'm hot, you're hot, I think, like, I want to get with you, so, like, I'm gonna do all this to help you. And then Javi, like, doing the whole, like, I've got to feel guilty for what I've done, and then I'm just gonna be your third wheel, and Tyler, you should, like, go to her right now before she goes back to New York. What are you doing? Like, I do see that. But I'm just gonna argue that the movie tries, in the best way that it could with the disaster film formula, to create characters that are the whole, like, they're more than they appear. That's gonna be an argument I'm gonna try and make.
Oh, buddy.
Are you gonna make him any harder? I can see it in your face.
Dude, I mean, whatever. It's You guys decide. Comment. Tell us what you think. Do you agree with whatever the F that was that Anbu just said? Or do you agree that every single one of these characters are just tropes and stereotypes? And the most real character and the most real character and the character that had the most character development was Javi. Because remember, she even called him out it. When you were young, you were a mess, guy. Now look at you, you know? Right? And yeah, he sold his soul to the devil. But that's literally the most real thing that a person would do in the real world. In the real world, you know, some of us want to be musicians. Some of us want to do all these other cool things that we, like, romanticize as teenagers, right? But we know that once we're out there and our stomach is grumbling, and the next thing you know, you are like, oh, I need to pay rent. It's like, you need to find a job, man. You need to make money, right? Now, once you position yourself in a place where you are okay, then go back to playing guitar. Go back to making art. Go back to doing whatever you need to do, you know? Have at it, because maybe now you would have even more experience. Hell, as an artist, being able to go to the struggles of life probably makes you a better artist. But anyways, I digress. Javi, to me, was the best character, had the best development, was the most real, and he genuinely cared, and he loved that girl. He didn't just want to hit it, because Dushin also wanted to just hit it, right? He fell for her later after she saves him, shows him how dumb he is and how much smarter she is, right? Oh, and all of those, like, scary moments, right? It's the roller coaster effect, right? Like, that's how people fall in love with each other, right? Because of the roller coaster effect, the whole you know, I'm alive. I love you. Yeah. But then, you know, do they even really link up? And it's not much later that people find out that they're not supposed to be together. Sorry, I'm going elsewhere.
No.
I'm gonna pull back.
I was.
You what?
All I was trying to do was trying to give you a devil's advocate perspective. I agree with you that I'm not the biggest fan of Tyler.
Javi already slept with the devil a little too much.
Oh my god.
Special effect. Oh, go ahead. What's up?
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, like, let's just pull it back, right? So, like, in terms of the movie, though, forget the characters, forget everything else. Special effects, though, can I just say that they did a great job with the special effects?
They did.
Can we agree on that?
Agree.
Like, that was really good.
No, the special effects were fantastic. I really did enjoy them. I really loved the scenes where, for example, when he literally sinks down the truck, right, with those drills, and they're like just enjoying that and the music and like the whole experience of it, and like you're there with them. It was great. It was awesome. I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
It was really good. The where the E5 is like just tearing through that little town, right? And they're trying to save everybody towards the end, and how the theater basically almost wrecks them all. I don't know how that theater lasted as much as it did.
Seriously, that was insane.
But all that was awesome, man. Oh, when she goes up to the E5 and that in the truck and just releases the whatever that stuff was, all of it was amazing. It was very well made.
Yeah. No, it was. I mean, honestly, if there's anything to draw you into this movie, is how well the disaster shots were done. Like the rodeo sequence with the hotel, the ending sequence with like the theater and with that town, and the way that it like develops into an. It's actually I think it's an F5. Sorry, I was like, yeah, it's an E5. I was like, wait, no, it's an F5. But like in general, like a lot of the shots that they set up for the tornadoes are well done. And like there's a joy to like seeing that, and then like again hearing the science behind it, which is something I wish there was a little bit more of, which is the scientific aspect of tornadoes and everything. That really drew me in for the movie, and one of the big highlights was like how well done those sequences were. Beyond that though, you know, I think we can both agree that like I don't know if this is a genre we I don't know if we need to continue the genre, if I'm honest. Like, I know that this movie tried to discuss, like, climate change and the way that that affects Twisters because of, like, how many there were in, like, sequence. This was, like, one of the rare times where there were a lot in tornado season. And, like, you know, maybe it's commentary for the modern world of, like, hey, guys, we're, like, really messing up our planet. Here we go. But I don't really see another call for a Twisters movie where, like, it would need to be expanded upon. What do you think?
No, not really. Again, I think just with the original was more than enough. I don't see how we benefited except for that it kind of maybe brings us up to date with climate change, which is a real thing and it is affecting our world and we're all experiencing it. I mean, just this year, you know, it's been hot. It's been so hot. It hasn't been this hot in a very long time, and you know, and the tornadoes too. I mean, we have been having a lot of tornadoes across the country, and the floods. I mean, there's been so many different things going on in the world. So I guess that's the only thing that it really syncs us up with what was happening back in the 90s. But aside from that, no, I don't think we really need like another movie to further explain the more tropes of these terrible cast members. And if you not cast member, I'm sorry, not the cast, I apologize. I try to never hate on the actors. I meant the characters. They might probably do like another set of people, but if they do make another movie, maybe like in another 20 years to see where we're at as a society.
Sure.
Right? Hopefully not a worst version, right? Because God, maybe, I don't know, man. I don't know where humanity is going, so.
That's the thing, is like, I don't know if disaster movies are really... I mean, like, I feel like we're so numb to it now because of all of the disasters we're already seeing in real time. You talk about, like, all the hurricanes that are automatically Category 5 that come to, like, Florida without even thinking twice. You think about, like, places that weren't getting tornadoes as often are now seeing them more frequently. I mean, like, disasters are happening every day within the world to where, and like you said, the effects of climate change are very apparent to where, like, I don't know if a disaster movie fits in our timeline right now because we're aware of how much our climate is getting destroyed and our environment is getting destroyed as a result of it. You know, I think disaster movies were meant to be parables of, like, if we don't change, this is what could happen. But, like, we're already in a world where these things are happening. So how much more disaster do we want to expand upon when we're already seeing it happen in real time? Like, I just don't see a major future for it.
I think you just called it right now. I think we've become numb to it, really. Nothing hits. No disaster movie really hits anymore. With, like you said, everything that's happening in the world right now, floods, the heat waves, the mega quake that Japan is scared of experiencing, and it's a big possibility, right? That completely destroyed that country. Yeah, they just don't hit the same because everything's like so real now. I think after COVID, we also changed as a society to realize that we're not immortal.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think about, what was it, like 2 years ago when Britain had like the massive heat wave, and Britain never needed to have like AC before, and because of like they were near the ocean, they like had breezes, they were typically fine, but they got hit with humidity and heat, and we saw a great heat wave where there was a climatologist who came on to a news channel and was like, stop like trying to make it lighthearted, don't joke about this. This is very real and very dangerous, and it's not just like a rare occurrence now. This is the start of things to come. Like, he was very much like realistic about like what is happening in this world. So you're right. I do think we're numb to it because, we're just seeing so much happen now. We're like, even in China with the, I'm sorry, we're on a tangent, but like real quick, like in China where have you heard of the flashbulb event or the flashbulb heat? Have you heard of that before? So like, imagine if you and I were sitting in 80 degrees of temperature, right? And it's 100% humidity. And it is so humid that you're getting condensation on your walls, in your wiring, on your ceiling, and everywhere. There's nothing that can stop that from happening. It's like a light bulb effect. And that's what's happening in a lot of places right now because of the way that, again, climate change is happening. So like, if I were to see a movie that talks about that and like a place gets destroyed or something, like when I was younger, that'd be like, oh my god, that's so scary. But now it's like, bro, that's already happening like in 5 different places. Like, okay.
Yeah, people probably be like, oh, that's not bad. That, just don't chase the tornadoes. Like, just don't chase the tornadoes. That's easy. There, solved. You're welcome. But yeah, again, I think that COVID really was a big turn for us because it made us realize that we're very fragile creatures. We can be easily wiped by something as small as like the tiny little organism, right? Can wipe us, and we're worried about the climate and all this stuff. Like those could definitely wreck us. But yeah, no, our mentality is completely changed. And if you noticed, we've had less and less of movies that have to do with end of the world stuff.
Yeah.
If not, I think now we've had more things having to do with probably internal stuff, maybe paranormal, maybe more politically related. Like the movie that I just finished watching yesterday, and we'll probably do an episode on the Civil War one. That one was raw, and I'm excited to do an episode with you on that one.
Yeah. So, in conclusion, would you recommend somebody seeing Twisters?
No, don't go watch it to the movies. Don't rent it. Don't buy it. Wait for it to come on Netflix or one of the many other streaming platforms, and then make a date out of it. Make fun of it with your significant other or friends, which is what I like to do, and I'm pretty sure Humble likes to do, right? And then move on and go watch something better. But no, Twisters, nah. You know what? Okay. Go watch the original one. That's probably the best thing to do.
Okay.
Palate cleanser, watch the original one.
Here's the thing. My caveat is this. If you want a popcorn movie where you turn your brain off and you're not looking for anything beyond just like enjoying cool disasters and like tornadoes and stuff and special effects, definitely go see Twisters for that. Okay, fine. Stereotypes
and make fun of YouTubers and content creators like me and Anbu.
Because you can have fun with like watching disaster pieces and poking fun at things that you find silly in this movie. But if you are looking for one, a classic, definitely check out Twister and enjoy that. But beyond that, everybody, we thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed our episode of discussing Twisters. I hope that Mead was tastier than the movie was for Silver.
Oh, yeah.
And we will see you the next time that we come around the table. So until then, please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe on YouTube. Please check us out also on Spotify. We have our podcast there. And you know what? In the comments below, please let us know, what is a disaster movie that you really liked and why? And actually, how about this? I'm gonna challenge you all. I'm gonna give you a challenge. Name a disaster movie that you think should get a sequel and why. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. So we will see you later, everybody. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.